We're now well into earnings season. We just heard results from MercadoLibre, and to put it mildly, it's very impressive. Before we get started, please take a minute and click subscribe to my channel if you don't already. And please take a look at the link you see on your screen right now for a message from my sponsor, The Motley Fool. It's the best way to support the work I'm doing on my YouTube channel, and you'll get the top 10 stocks to buy right now. So we just saw MercadoLibre's second quarter earnings results. MercadoLibre, by the way, is often called the Amazon of Latin America. And that doesn't really do the company justice. They have a whole fintech side of them to them. They're a massive payment processor, as I'll get into in a second. They have a logistics platform. They have a lending business. I call them more like the Amazon, the PayPal, and maybe even the UPS of Latin America rolled all into one. So it's a pretty earlier stage operation. Cashless payment adoption's in the earlier stages in a lot of its markets. E-commerce adoption is still accelerating in a lot of areas. And you can see that in the numbers. In the second quarter, MercadoLibre's merchandise volume in the e-commerce marketplace was up 47%. And that's not just inflation. The number of items sold were up 18% year over year. Both of those represent an acceleration from the growth rates of the first quarter. So that's really nice to see. This was their first quarter with over $10 billion of merchandise sales. So a nice milestone there. On the fintech side of the platform, Mercado Pago, the payments platform, payment volume was up 97% year over year to $42.1 billion. So that means they're almost at $170 billion of annualized payment volume. Not only that, they added about 7 million active users to the fintech platform. They're over 45 million now. The credit portfolio, they have $3.3 billion in outstanding loans. That's up 21% year over year. And although they have a pretty high loss ratio, a lot of Americans don't realize that interest rates are much higher in some of their markets. So the net interest margin they're getting off that $3.3 billion of outstanding loans, even after losses, is about 37%. For context, most U.S. credit card issuers and personal lenders would be happy with a net interest margin in the 6 to 10% range. So company-wide, the overall revenue was up 57%. Operating margins were very impressive, 16.3%. That's up from 9.6% a year ago. 7.7% net margin for an e-commerce business. That's really impressive. And MercadoLibre has about $3.8 billion of cash and equivalents on its balance sheet to take advantage of future opportunities. So a couple of things to watch going forward. Number one, the company's highly valued, so it will have to continue to deliver on its growth expectations. Right now, it trades for about 64 times forward earnings, a little over 5 times sales. And that's at a time when we're expecting recessions in a lot of places all over the world. Inflation's still very high, especially in some of MercadoLibre's markets like Argentina. So a lot of that's worth keeping an eye on. The credit portfolio is definitely worth keeping an eye on. Right now, it's performing well in terms of that net interest margin I mentioned, but that's not guaranteed. So keep an eye on that. And like I said, the growth has been incredible. It's accelerating. The stock is priced for growth, though, so keep an eye on that. But this is one of my top 5 investments in my portfolio, and I plan to keep it that way. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already. And as always, this video is sponsored by The Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.